Welcome back everybody to the channel. This time around we have another build guide for last Epoch, and we have Shaman with called Avalanche. Avalanche gotten a huge rework this cycle for 1.1. It is pretty awesome. It is not amazing, broken OP or anything like that, but we can build a very strong character, and there are plenty of different setups you can do on a character like that. That is the best part. We experimented a lot with this build. This is what we ended up doing. I'm gonna show you how it looks here on an Echo. We are already pushing almost 700 corruption, and I think the ceiling is a little bit higher than what I'm doing right now. We are popping our Storm Totem. This will give us a lot of buffs that we're gonna be talking about in a little bit. And other than that, we are spamming our Avalanche, Fury Leap for Traversal into our Echoes, and Warcry to buff our crit and give us recovery, give us the immunity frames and everything like that. We are running about 100 movement speed, and when we get haste, 130 of course. So it is a pretty speed farmer, especially at a lower corruption. On my right click, I do have the Eternal's Blessing, right? Eternal's Blessing is pretty awesome. It's gonna give you a lot of recovery. You can even spec into it. We're gonna talk about that in the skill section. But generally speaking, I've been enjoying this build a lot. I've been playing a lot of hours, did a lot of farming, and we have a very nice single target setup as well that I will be explaining in the next frame, so that you can see what exactly we are doing in the single target as well. Now, before we move forward, of course, do remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you like videos like that. It helps me a lot so I can provide more content for you guys. And let's get started. I'm gonna show you the single target from my boss at 700 corruption at the end of the video. It's nothing spectacular. Let's get started with the main skills. We're gonna do them here in game this time around. And we have our Avalanche, of course. We are maxing out the minus mana cost, and we are getting all the more multipliers. This needs an active totem. We do have active totems. We will be talking about that in a little bit. Largest border chance, very important, and this one is our base crit, and the smaller boulder chances getting large into largest border when you crit. Now this is very important to max it out. Also keep in mind that in a build like that, because we are playing a Shaman, capping our crit is a little bit tough. That's why we are making certain different choice in our gear. Mainly we are going for a Scorn Scepter. This is a new Nemesis base. You can only get it from Nemesis, and you upgrade it when you kill a Harbinger while you're having it equipped, and it gives us 9% flat spell crit, right? And 9% from this Alpine Guide here node. We can actually cap our crit through our Warcry and a little bit crit chance on our gear, and that's about it. So we don't need to invest a lot in our crit, which is a very good for a Shaman build. We can just invest into crit multi. Other than that, freeze rate multi and a little bit more damage multiplier. This is the cold conversion right here. Now, as you can see, I have 2 unspent points. I have +4 on my dedication relic, so you don't need +4 on your relic. You can make this build with +2 or +3, but the reason that I have those points available is because I'm speccing to explosive impact when I'm doing bosses, when I'm doing Orobis, when I'm doing Aberoth, when I'm doing those kinds of bosses, or tier 4 Jura. We can destroy tier 4 Jura in a few seconds with this one, because I'm gonna show you right here. It makes your Avalanche to work like that. I do explain more about this later on. Let's keep going with the skills. Now, Storm Totem. Storm Totem is just providing us with a few buffs. We are getting the shock chance. This is very important because we need the Storm Totem to hit shocked enemies, so that we are getting 40% movement speed. And we are traveling right here. This is slow. I like it. It's very nice. A little bit mana efficiency. Our spells, because we are stacking a lot of attunement, are super cheap. One of the reasons that I have Eterna's Blessings here, you can see from 32, because of our attunement, it goes down to 6 mana, and it's basically free to cast. We have a lot of cast speed for our totem, and something that I've been trying and I really like it, line resistance. That's a little bit extra for our mana regen through User's Pride, our chest, and we are going into stun chance here. So this build, we have a lot of big hits, and we are also getting a little bit of stun chance from our tree. We can get more on our weapon, so we are ending up stunning our enemies a lot. I really like that. It's a very nice mechanic. We cannot afford a lot of defensive layers. Of course, we are trying our best to get good defenses, but we don't have access to that many things, so it's a real nice extra. Now let's talk about Warcry. Pretty standard stuff on the Warcry. We are getting the cooldown and we are getting the pull, invulnerability for 1 second, a little bit of healing, and I like the cleanse very, very much. Up here we have Battle Cry. This is 100% increased critical strike chance. We're converting to cold, but the most important part is we're getting 250% cold damage and another 100% crit chance for our cold skills. So that means we are getting 200% increased crit chance from our Warcry. That helps us a lot. I only have spell crit in here. Spell crit rolls higher than the normal crit on the amulets, and that basically caps my crit. Fury Leap, very, very standard stuff. Cooldown recovery rate, immunity while we're leaping. We are getting the pull right here. This is just travel nodes, and we are getting 15 global spell damage when we have for 3 seconds, and fret duration, a little bit extra cast speed for us. Another cleanse source. I really like my cleanses. It is not necessary, but we don't have really any better things to get in Fury Leap, and this is a little bit lower mana cost. Now, Fury Leap is not essential to the build. You can, as I said, spec even to Eterna's Blessing. The reason that you can spec into Eterna's Blessing, you can get some really nice resistances. This is 100% increased spell damage on your next spell. We are casting Avalanche with low cast speed in general. That means that you can spam that and play 2-button style and get the 100% spell damage. It's very, very nice. It can give you a little bit extra health leads, which is fantastic, especially early on before you have your damage high up, so you're leeching a lot. I've used it quite a bit at the early stages. And of course, because you can spec into cleanse, it's a free cleanse on demand. Just right click your character, you are getting Eterna's Blessing heal over time and the efflorescence, which casts again, and you can get the healing totem. That's important because with 3 points every time you cast an Eterna's Blessing, you are getting your healing totem, and it's an extra totem. The reason that an extra totem is good, because we are getting the suffix on our nade here. It's cold damage per active totem. This one rolls up to 22%, and we are also getting more buffs from Protective Circle. This is elemental and physical resistance per active totem. That means we are getting a lot more mana regen through our User's Pride. This chest is one of my favorite uniques in the game. It's very easy to find with LP. It has some really good stats, and because I did not want to use the Spriggan form, so for mana regeneration, basically a lot of people, what are they doing in their Avalanche's builds, it's a high mana cost spell, right? They are actually taking Spriggan form when they run out of mana. They use Spriggan form, they go into the form, they cannot cast anything but Thorn Shield, and then they go back, they have full mana pool, they can do damage again. I don't like that playstyle. I think it's a little bit cheesy as well. I'm not sure if they're gonna change that direction at any time. So we are specking into mana regeneration quite a bit. We are stacking a whole bunch of attunement. That means we are getting 1% mana regen per 1 attunement from the threshold on elemental shrines as well. And with all of our buffs, with our totems, and when we are proccing our thorn totems from the avalanche procs because of our chance to summon a thorn totem here, we are getting about 35 mana regeneration, which is pretty fantastic because we have a lot of damage, and that's enough to even burst bosses with one mana pool at 700 corruption. Now, to finish up with our skills, Thorn Totem, the most important parts are up here to get the plus 4 maximum totems, and we are getting the Grove Mine that casts all the totems together basically. Our Thorn Totem does not cost mana when it's being cast from the idol, and you cannot use this as mana generator, unfortunately, so because this one only applies when they summoned directly. Other than that, you can go down here and get armor shred from your totems. I also have a little bit of armor shred on my weapons. It is not that necessary, but you can get armor shred from here. This part over here is optional. I like the cold totems and a little bit free rate multi, especially because we are stuck in attunement. Early on your echoes at lower corruption, it's gonna be a little bit of helpful there, but nothing too amazing. This is more of a flavor. You can go down here into Titan's Bane if you wish. That is entirely up to you. This is what I've been using, and I'm happy with it. Alright, that is it for the skills now. Let's get into the planner, check out the planners, gear, idols, and what you can do different about the build. Alright, now to the planners. As per usual, I will be giving you the first planner of what you need to set up the build, and of course another planner of my character importation, the direct importation with very high LP items and everything like that, as more of a aspirational choice. Now I'm gonna mention before we start here with the items that I have more legendary affixes than normally do on our planners. One of the main reasons is because Nemesis is a very good mechanic that you can put those uniques and get high LP. We are using mostly uniques that are easy to find and they have low effective LP potential, so you can drop them with high LP. 2 or 3 for all of those items is very easy for the most part, and you can get 2 or 3 LP from the Nemesis mechanic as well. Now, let's get into it. As I said, we are using the Avenge Scorn. This one you need to farm from the Nemesis. If you can fight with crit multi, it's very nice. Spell damage is good. Cold damage is also very, very good. I like tier 5 minus mana cost. It gives us a little bit extra spell damage, and of course the mana cost. If you happen to find tier 6 or tier 7 minus mana cost on a Scorn scepter is also very good. Cold penetration is fantastic as a suffix. Stun chance is very, very nice as well. As I said, we are stunning a lot. When it comes to our body armor, use this Pride, 2 or 3 LP. Try to hit increased health and attunement. Strength, also very, very good for the build. It gives us more armor, of course, but because we are also using the new Palarus Sacred Light, I want to do a build with this. There are other options, but I want to build around that. We have access to a lot of strength, so we are getting 1 flat spell damage per 2 strength. The Scorn Scepter doesn't have a lot of flat, so we need a little bit to compensate right there. So we can get more spell flat from legendary affix from the swords, crit multi, cold penetration. You can get shred armor here. If you need, you can get a spell critical as well. So we have a lot of options when it comes to affixes that scale our build. Now, Bleeding Heart is very, very nice for the elites. We don't have access to a lot of elites. 2 or 3 LP, try to get life. I would prioritize my life here and spell crit. If you can also hit crit multi, is fantastic. When it comes to our gloves, Hand of Judgment, highest attunement pair of gloves in the game. You can get up to 16 roll, try to maximize. Nothing else on the gloves matters. The void resistance on the implicit is very nice, but we don't need a very high roll on the void resistance to cap our void resistance, but if you have that, it's gonna be good. The attunement is the most important part. Try to get life and attunement. Flat life is nice, hybrid life is nice, and if you can get extra cast speed, I missed my cast speed on my slam, unfortunately, is very good, and it's gonna make your build feel better on echoes. When it comes to the last couple of uniques. Dedication of an Erased is a relic that I really love on the Primalist. We are getting slow from the Storm Totem, so we can activate the less damage over time taken against slowed enemies. Damage over time is our biggest enemy, so as much as you can when it comes to mitigation. You could try to slam mitigation experimental affix for damage over time here. It would be real nice as well. And of course, just get a couple of levels on your Avalanche. You can get other good things on your dedication. You can get flat mana, you can get attunement, you can get strength, you can get spell damage, you can get a lot of good things. Resistances or endurance or life. There are a lot of things you can get. And dedication is fairly common, so you can level up a lot of them until you hit what you need. Avalanche, because it's a plus level, it's a rare affix, so it's easier to roll rare affixes on those relics. When it comes to rings, this is not mandatory by any means. I really like though the carcinization. This is another new unique. It has all attributes which we love. It has swiftness, which is movement speed scaling with your levels, and a little bit extra increased armor as well. Try to hit life or attunement or strength or even endurance. Life is probably the priority here. We want access to a lot of life because we don't get a lot of access from our passive, so I would prioritize life. Our belt is fairly straightforward. Mana regen tier 6 or tier 7. Life, if you want and can get cold damage as another prefix, or cleanse for your potions is pretty fantastic. But other than that, those are the most important ones. Keep in mind, on both your belt and on your amulet, you can get the suffix which is health and stun avoidance. Very, very good, because we get a lot of stun avoidance on the build from our attunement. As you can see, this one is 850, but it doesn't count everything. And on my character, I have 1700 stun avoidance. Fantastic on live builds. Ancestral Crown is my choice here for the endurance and the maximum health gain this endurance threshold, but you can go with the Tusk Grey Helmet. It has maximum life on it, so both are very good choices as long as you can get life, strength, attunement and reduction from crits, because with the Citadel Boots we can actually get enough reduction from crits, so we have crit avoidance and we feel good about the build. On the boots, because this can be a very speedy farmer when it comes to echoes, you can prioritize tier 6 or tier 7 movement speed as well. Even haste from the experimental affix, you can forgo this attunement if you have good attunement on your other gear. Fantastic choice no matter what you go for though. Other than that, I think that's about it with the gear. The last thing is red ring. Red ring is becoming a little bit of a staple. I don't like putting it there, but if you have it, slap it on. Otherwise, just get a nice ring with extra resistances, with attributes, with life, all of those good things. But the less damage taken will be very good for you if you want to push higher corruption like I did. We talked about a little bit about the idols. This is the most important part of the build. You want chance to hit on hit to summon a Thorn Totem. You don't need max roll on this one. 7-8% will do you just fine. You have a lot of hits from your avalanches. And the suffix is cold damage per active totem. There is also suffix spell damage with an active totem. It rolls up to 60%. It doesn't scale, of course, but it's still a very good one, especially if you want to start the build. You can use, by the way, 2 of those if you wish, especially early on. It's a very nice boost on your damage if you are using Eterra's Blessing, because you can get 2 healing totems, stone totem and 5 thorns, so you're getting an enormous amount of cold damage if you're using 2 of those ornates. Later on, you want the life, so you replace one of them. When it comes to Grand totems, we have 2 options. The suffix is always increased spell damage if you have an active totem. When it comes to prefixes, you can get haste. When you summon a totem, we are spamming our storm totem, and you can get mana as well. Both of them are good, whatever you have available. The haste is not super consistent, but it's still very nice. The rest are life. You can get resistances to cap your resistances. from humble idols, from the small ones. You can get armor as well, armor and life from the small Lagunian as well. So that is up to you and what your character needs. Let's talk about the blessings real quick. Blessings are very simple as well. Spirits of Fire, flat armor, fantastic. No better blessing here. We are going for Shred Cold resistance on heat from Edge of Winter. All resistance from Rhino of Dragons. This can be a crit avoidance early on into the build, so you can get your crit avoidance really fast. And the Storm is an interesting one. You can go with the flat mana if you get a high roll, but you can go with cold damage as well on it. So you have other options. Early on, if you don't have good resistances, you can even go with lightning resistance. Crit multi on the Black Sun is pretty stable. We need as much crit multi on the build. We don't have access to a lot of it, but you can also get void resistance live. Depends if you have other needs on the build until you fix your gear. Now I will start putting this on all my guides. For the Fall of the Outcast, make sure that you have increased experience, even if it's a min roll, because this one will boost the favor you're gaining. So people need to start being aware about this blessing. In the past I was always suggesting gold at some point in the end game, but yeah, with favor being into the game right now, the increased experience is much better. Alright, let's talk about the passives now, and let's see what we have here. Into the primal list, we are getting our attunement, life. This is our dual wield. This one still gives us 9% more damage taken, which is a little bit of a shame. It is what it is, we need to deal with it. Current Burst is a fantastic buff. This one got a change in 1.1 as well. It's fantastic for life builds right now. I absolutely love it, because when you get into your endurance threshold or in low life in general, and you have the Current Beast buff, you're basically, with your endurance, you have 80% less damage taken. That gives you a lot of time to recover, for your leads to work, and maybe, you know, recover from Warcry, Fury Leap, or even a Terra's Blessing. Beastmaster, we're only getting a little bit of strength here, and of course the less damage taken from nearby enemies. Druid, pretty standard stuff. Sidinus Plating, you can go less points here if you have your endurance from somewhere else. I don't, that's why I'm maxing it, but 5 points here are more than enough. Even less if you have a good endurance, maybe a tier 6 endurance somewhere, you can forgo this one entirely, and you can get more life. Any passives that you change from the passive tree, either gonna be more life or cast speed. For example, in here, this one requires a lot of points to unlock it, so that's why I don't take it. Otherwise, I do like this one. Druidic powers, of course, one of my favorite passives in the game. A lot of attributes out of this one, and we scale a lot with our attributes as well. We ended up Spirit Warden here just for the health and mana. Now to the Shaman tree. In the build, we are not scaling AoE for more overlaps, because we are using the impact, as I said, but you can do that and never change your setup on the Avalanche. And also, if you get more cast speed into your build, it's gonna feel really, really nice. For the time being, I am only using cast speed from Totemic Fury, which is always up. We always have a totem up. Attunement, this is fantastic. A new threshold here, stun avoidance per attunement, and a little bit extra endurance threshold. I think this is a very good node when you're stacking attunement on a Shaman. Again, stun avoidance, very important, and it feels very good to play with when you can scale it above 1600 and above. This one is just travel. We're getting the flat cold damage here, and the Fist of Stone. I would not skip this passive. This is endurance and also shared stun suns. As you saw, we are getting Storm Totem stun suns, and we have stun suns for ourselves as well. This one boosts both of them, and it's very, very nice. It's good value for 5 points. I really like it. More spell damage, of course, Rune of Awe, and Protective Circle. This is what makes Using Sprite getting so much value. Attunement, and I talked about the threshold for more mana and generation. And to finish off, Iron Bark. Now there are some really good things here. You can get the more spell damage with an active totem as well, if you wish so. I found my damage is fantastic. I wanted to boost as much defense as possibly can after I got whatever I wanted from my passive skill. I believe that is it for this build. I've enjoyed this Shaman Avalanche build a lot. I don't think Avalanche is broken or PS some people are making it to be, but it is a very cool skill. It's very fun to play. It has good clear, it has fantastic single target as well, and with investment you can push this build. It's a fast eco farmer for like 600 700 corruption as well, which is pretty nice, and it's very comfy to play. In my opinion, if you want a nice summon build, this is definitely something that you can go for. Also, an added bonus on this one, as long as you keep investing on better legendaries and higher LP items, you will feel a lot better in your build. You will have a lot more damage and you will be crushing everything. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will catch you on the next video. Bye bye. Okay, let's check out a Formosus boss here. This is something that I want to talk about for Avalanche and our single target. So, because we have decided not to scale area of effect on our build, right? We want to have a little bit better single target. Of course, the single target is much better. Once again, this is a build that based on the boss hitbox, you're gonna have much higher single target on higher hitboxes bosses, because as you can see you're gonna get a lot or more overlap, right? If it's a small one, some of the avalanche that are being thrown, some of the boulders that are being thrown around, they're not gonna hit it. Now we have a node here, explosive impact, which I've talked about this node a little bit with Perry the Pig as well, and this node seems to be working a little bit weird, probably some small bug based on the description and what it does in game. But what it does in game, it is this one. All of our boulders are basically being shrink down, they're dropping in a smaller area. So we have incredible, absolutely incredible single target with this node right here, right? You only need 1 point to make it work. By the way, I'm putting 2 points here because I have 2 points extra, so I don't need it. If you want, I could get 1 point in Storm Slide, a little bit extra damage. I just like it like that. And for single target, that's what we do. I'm gonna show you right here how good the overlaps are actually. We have a lot of stun in the build as well for bosses. Now this is a boss, of course, that it moves, right? Any boss that it moves like that will be a little bit of a problem when it comes to your single target, of course. But yeah, as you can see here, even at this kind of corruption, 700 hit points, as you see here, we can still manage with just a one mana pool. We don't even need to regen. Now, of course, because how the game is designed, if you had to fight the Harbinger, you would probably start at about here on your mana pool, and the fight would be a little bit more problematic. But you can do Harbingers at a little bit lower corruption and you're completely fine. I farmed a lot of Harbinger eyes at 500 corruption in number of courses where we have the fat Harbinger is a lot easier to kill, and you are completely fine and you can burst them down very fast.